This is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. I am Imam of Bansang. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. 7 vehicles have been impounded and the owners charged after being arrested for joyriding and other traffic-related offences. The National Human Rights Commission gathered stakeholders on Wednesday to review and validate the report on social protection in the Gambia. An award ceremony for students in senior secondary schools who participated in essay writing, poetry, poster design and paintings was held at the British High Commissioner's residence in Fajara on Tuesday. Thousands of Muslims and disciples of the late Imam of Bansang, SHEIKH ALHAGIE BUBACARR ZAIDI JALLOW, gathered in Bansang Thursday for the 42nd annual Ziyarreh. And in sports news, the Gambia topped Group C after defeating Tunisia 1-0 on Tuesday in their opening game of the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I'm Jenna Pasonko. Now, 7 vehicles have been impounded and the owners charged after being arrested for various traffic offences. Mamadou Gajaga attended a press briefing by the Deputy Police PRO, and he files on this report.
Some of these vehicles were involved in car racing or stunt racing, sometimes referred to as joyriding, which is popular among some young people in the Greater Banjul area. They ride with no goal other than the pleasure or thrill of doing so, or to impress onlookers who cheer them on. They take selfies and videos and post them on social media. Mohammed Y. Dabo, the Deputy PRO of the Gambia Police Force, further explains.
The police have communicating this now in a more serious language and sending a stern warning to individuals who are involved in such activities. We have understood that most of the time, these are people who do not even own this vehicle. It's either they rent this vehicle or they been given it by their brothers, their fathers, and their friends, and they go there to do car racing and what many describe as stoning. This is illegal and it is unacceptable.
According to PRO Dabo, the owners of these vehicles are charged with traffic offences including dangerous driving, unlicensed vehicles, and unauthorized use of tinted glass vehicles, amongst others. He added that 2 of the 4 arrested have appeared at the Canifing Tribunal Court and have paid their fines.
To inform you that we are very much serious about this, and that is why we do not waste any time but to take the matter before the Canifing Tribunal Court. As I said earlier, 4 of them out of the 7 are already arraigned before the court and sentenced. 3 of them are charged with $15,000 each, and the 4th one is charged with $25,000. As I speak to you this morning, the other 3 are before the court waiting for their verdict.
The Deputy Police PRO cautioned those engaged in stunt car racing to desist and for vehicle owners to be vigilant. He added that some of the people who rent out their vehicles to these young people must share some of the blame as well.
Individuals, especially parents, vehicle owners, because we have interacted with these people who are involved in the offences. Some of the vehicles are owned by their own parents. We are sending a strong advice to all of them to kindly desist from giving their vehicles to their children, their kids. Most of these are below the ages of 30.
Car stunts might look cool on reality shows and in the movies, but can cause serious accidents and sometimes have deadly consequences. There has been an increase in so-called exhibition driving and racing, especially around the Independence Stadium. Unless serious action is taken to stop the dangerous act, the lives of those doing it, the onlookers, and even passers-by could be at risk. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
Now, the right to social protection is recognized under international law as a foundation on which enjoyment of other rights is built. The National Human Rights Commission gathered stakeholders on Wednesday to review and validate the report on social protection in the Gambia. Aliou Cisse has more.
Without peace,
social protection is defined by the National Social Protection Policy as transformative policies and programs designed to reduce poverty and population vulnerability by promoting efficient labor markets, among others. The National Human Rights Commission, with support from the Danish Institute for Human Rights and the Network of African Human Rights Institutions, commissioned a study on social protection in the Gambia, focusing on interventions such as building resilience through social transfer, BREST, and NAFA-QUIC. The Gambia's legal and policy framework for social security was designed to contribute to the alleviation of poverty and vulnerability. However, widespread poverty and multidimensional vulnerability in the Gambia have exposed the population to economic and health shocks during the global pandemic and economic depression. Dr. Sekou Kausu Gassama, Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, says social protection falls within the mandate of the Commission, which includes promoting and protecting the respect for fundamental human rights. And this stakeholders meeting is timely as it comes after the bill on social protection was validated last week.
Quite often as a nation, the approach of social protection has always been, in emergency basis. It's only when, issues happen, emergencies, disaster, we respond. We think this is when to show essential protection to vulnerable, groups in our society. We believe that this emergency-oriented approach needs to change. We need, policies, laws, to actually address issues of social protection at that level.
Maria Plock-Peterson of the Danish Institute for Human Rights says the right to social protection is a human right firmly established in international law, and it is also critical to realizing 2030 and 2063 agendas. She adds that in many countries, the COVID-19 pandemic served as a reminder of the importance of social protection systems as many people lost their jobs and life opportunities.
And states have a duty to use a maximum of available resources to realize this right, and an immediate duty to ensure access to social security schemes that provide a minimum of essential levels of benefits to all.
National human rights institutions have a mandate to monitor the implementation of human rights obligations, including that of social protection for groups of people in disadvantaged situations. As such, this study is important in this context as it shines a light on people who are extremely poor. In 2017, the Gambia government was found to spend $96 million, representing 0.18% of GDP, directly towards social protection programs. This is below the average trend of World Bank's low-income countries, as well as the sub-Saharan African average. In comparison, the $136 million contributed by donor organizations towards social protection in the Gambia, the figure reveals that social protection in the Gambia is significantly donor-based. As they reviewed the document, it is hoped that the recommendations will help the Gambia advance the rights to social protection. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
From that, regional and national award ceremony for students in senior secondary schools who participated in essay writing, poetry, poster design and paintings was held at the British High Commissioner's residence in Fajara on Friday. Julden Jai attended and she fastened this report.
Without peace, our economies will go down the drain. Without peace, our lives and livelihoods will be in serious trouble. Without peace, we will become refugees in our own countries. So let us give peace a chance.
That was James Cole, National Coordinator for the Leadership Network in the Gambia. This event was organized by the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education in collaboration with the UK-based Freedom of Religion and Belief and funded by UK Aid. Pa Daniel Mendy, Senior Programs Officer, Gambia Teachers Union, spoke of the importance of this competition.
All the regions, from region 1 right down to region 6, not a single region was left out. Senior secondary schools in all regions in the Gambia sent in entries on the 3 different categories. And so those entries were judged first at the regional level, so that the outstanding ones were sieved out, And then we had a panel of judges.
David Belgrove, British High Commissioner to the Gambia, says respect for freedom, human rights and democracy should be our guiding principles.
Too many children do not grow up in peace and security. That is why those of us who have those freedoms need to protect them for future generations and help others around the world achieve those most fundamental freedoms, and that's why you are so important. I applaud the people of the Gambia and its institution for the example they have set in promoting freedom of religious belief and human rights.
Marie-Antoinette Kaur, Secretary General, Gambia Teachers Union and Chairperson of the working group, explains about the competition.
Children, we all know, are our future. And to brighten up the future, we need to bring out their hidden talents. All the students who participated went through a tough competition for the final selection. I must tell you, students, that you have definitely set a very high and admiring benchmark. So you have to keep up the momentum.
Honorable Abdullah Sise, National Assembly member for All Yundum constituency, spoke of the importance of proper education.
We cannot ignore the importance of education in our life at any cost, as we see daily in our society lots of social issues just because of the lack of proper education. Social issues like inequality, gender discrimination, religious differences.
Rabiatu Job of Nyamina Senior Secondary School is the regional and national winner in the poetry category.
What motivated me to write this poem is, like, some criminal cases are increasing in the Gambia, like killing, stealing, and you know that's not part of a peaceful society. So I decided to sit and think and observe and write.
Certificates and gifts were presented to the winners of the regional and national schools competition. For QTV News, I am Julden Jai.
Brilliant initiative. Congratulations to the winners. From that story by Julden Jai, we will now go for a short commercial break. And when we return, we have some more local news stories for you as well as sports. Don't go anywhere.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
Being the Gambia's trusted network, QCell continues to provide the fastest and most reliable internet service in the Gambia. With 4G plus internet speed, you are guaranteed fast and reliable internet anytime, anywhere with QCell. Get a QCell SIM card now at any of our customer care centers and enjoy the fastest 4G internet in the Gambia. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyubus, we innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I'm Jennifer Sonko. Now, thousands of Muslims and disciples of the late Imam of Bansang, Sheikh ALHAGIE BUBACARR ZAIDI JALLOW, gathered at the town central mosque on Thursday for the 42nd Ziyarreh, presided over by the current Caliph, ALHAGIE Hassan B. JALLOW. More in this report.
With tens of thousands of followers across Africa, Islamic leaders and Muslims from different parts of the country and the sub-region came together in support of preserving the legacy of the late Gambian scholar, Sheikh ALHAGIE BUBACARR ZAIDI JALLOW. Having overseen the expansion of the central mosque in the town over 4 decades ago, Imam Jallow, as he was fondly called, instructed that Muslims in Bansang, especially his disciples, converge to offer prayer and preach peace and tolerance to commemorate the completion of the expansion of the mosque. Since then, the Ziyarreh has become an annual event, the biggest Islamic gathering in the town. ALHAGIE Imam Said Jallow, brother of the current Caliph General, ALHAGIE Hassan B. Jallow, says the annual gathering is highly significant as it brings Muslims together, and went on to give a brief history of the late Imam and how he came to settle in Bansang.
He came from Guinea at a very early age, young age, traveled around the west coast of Africa, Guinea-Bissau, Senegal, and finally came to the Gambia. And he had acquaintances in Banjul, but by the time of the Second World War in 1939, he had decided to go back to Guinea, and it was on his way going back to Guinea that he stopped here in Bansang. The elders of Bansang requested him to stay with them and lead them in prayer and become their imam. He accepted that request and stayed here. For over 60 years after that, he had kept the mosque, has been teaching, has been also writing. He's written many books. Some have been published, printed. Others are work in progress in terms of printing and publishing.
ALHAGIE Imam said JALLOW also gives a historical background of the popular Ziyarreh and what it means to followers of the late Imam JALLOW.
The origin of the Ziyarreh is really the rehabilitation of the mosque and its inauguration. The mosque, under the leadership of Sheikh BUBACARR JALLOW, had been rehabilitated 2 to 3 times in his lifetime. The last rehabilitation was 42 years ago, when after completion of the works, Talibis and disciples and the community came together to inaugurate the mosque.
Further commenting on the significance of the annual Ziyarreh or Gamo, ALHAGIE Imam said JALLOW says it provides an opportunity for disciples of the late scholar and Muslims from all over the continent to gather and offer prayers and sermons on peace and tolerance. He also speaks on some of the works carried out by the late Imam.
He has taught many disciples from the basic Quranic school level to various books of Islamic jurisprudence, etc., and also the translation of the Quran called Tafsir.
Sheikh ALHAGIE BUBACARR ZAIDI JALLOW was an outstanding model of piety, selfless devotion to duty, and exemplary service to the Islamic Ummah and the community at large. Born in 1909 in Guinea-Conakry, late Imam Sheikh ALHAGIE BUBACARR ZAIDI JALLOW was a caliph who served as an Imam of Bansang for almost 70 years, the longest in the history of the Gambia. Answana Sonyasi for KTV News.
May his soul continue to rest in perfect peace. Now, the National Organization for Disabled and Orphans, in collaboration with the Catholic Relief Services, began 2 days training on Monday on malaria control and prevention for people with disabilities. Lena Igwenyiba has more.
The Catholic Relief Services is among the international organizations that have been supporting efforts to eliminate malaria in the Gambia since 2004. However, the need to include persons with disabilities in malaria control and prevention is paramount in promoting their rights. Over the course of the 2 days, participants will engage in group discussions and identify challenges faced by persons with disabilities in accessing malaria prevention and treatment services. The aim is to work out possibilities for persons with disabilities to acquire funding for a malaria project. Baba Balajo is the program manager for the Catholic Relief Services Malaria Project.
If this training saw a significant decline in the participation of the entire population, especially with persons or among persons with disabilities, CRS will start looking for funding for countries that are seriously affected by malaria. And Gambia could be one of the countries that could be selected to implement such projects.
People with disabilities remain among the most excluded, discriminated against, and invisible members of Gambian society. It is against this backdrop that NODO has resolved to improve their conditions and advance disability rights. Lamin Mane, Chairman and Secretary General of NODO, speaks about the potential for persons with disabilities to excel.
Persons with disabilities are creative. They are potential. And if there's an enabling environment, we all know they can contribute their quota, and they are contributing their quota to the socio-economic advancement of this country. But we remember health is a very important sector. Without good health, there will be no good economy. Without good health, there will be no good environment. So if persons with disabilities are also part and parcel of these inclusions, it's a great achievement.
Mamad Guy, a participant, applauds the initiative.
The initiative is fabulous, especially people that are differently able. Everybody knows that we are one of those vulnerable. Hope that they will give us what we need. Just the introduction speaks for itself, so that when we go back to our various communities, we can also sensitize our fellow disabled or differently able.
The Gambia is one of 6 countries in the World Health Organization Africa region that has achieved the 2020 milestone of reducing malaria cases and deaths by 40% compared to 2015. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwejim.
Now from that, let's take a look at what is happening in the world of sports. The Gambia topped Group C after defeating Tunisia 1-0 in their opening game of the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt on Tuesday. Our sports reporter Mamadou Kajaga was monitoring the game, and he now reports.
Gambia Under-20 team command Group C with victory against Tunisia, inspired by team captain ALHAGIE, who scored in the 84th minute with a powerful header. The young Scorpions captain was awarded man of the match for his performance. Although Gambia dominated possession for much of the game, Tunisia defended well to deny them many goal-scoring opportunities. Several goal-mouth efforts by the young Scorpions were dealt with, but they also displayed a lack of composure in the box. Gambia's Group C opponents, Benin and Zambia, drew 1-1 in Tuesday's second game at the Alexandria Stadium in Egypt. Prior to the tournament, head coach of the Gambia Under-20, Abdoulaye Bojang, said he wants to secure a World Cup spot, but first to win against Tunisia, which has been achieved. After this win, Coach Bojang told the media it was fantastic what they did today. We have to continue this momentum. The Gambia will play Zambia on Friday, 24th February, in their second Group C game. Mudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Congratulations to the young Scorpions and good luck in your subsequent games. Now, it seems that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News, but before we leave, let's recap our main headlines. 7 vehicles have been impounded and the owners charged after being arrested for joyriding and other related offences. The National Human Rights Commission gathered stakeholders on Wednesday to review and validate the report on social protection in the Gambia. An award ceremony for students in senior secondary schools who participated in essay writing, poetry, posters and paintings was held at the British High Commissioner's residence in Fajara on Tuesday. Thousands of Muslims and disciples of the late Imam of Bansang, SHEIKH ALHAGIE BUBACARR ZAIDI JALLOW, gathered in Bansang on Thursday for the 42nd annual Ziyarreh. In sports news, the Gambia topped Group C after defeating Tunisia 1-0 in